Have you ever laid awake at 2 a.m., staring at the ceiling like a sleep-deprived philosopher, wondering, why does managing money feel like trying to do brain surgery with a spoon? One minute you're just grabbing a $6 coffee, and the next your bank account is sending passive-aggressive notifications saying your account balance went negative again. If you've ever felt like money is just this never-ending stress loop, this might be the most important video you watch all year. Today, I'm giving you 12 money rules everyone should follow for a stress-free life. Because here's the thing, the rich, the stress-free, and the financially unbothered are not smarter than you. They just follow a different set of money rules, and now you're about to get all 12 of them. So without wasting any time, let's dive in. Rule number 1, always pay yourself first. All right, this is the first newsflash I want you to take from this video. You are not a bill collector. You are not a walking ATM. You are not the emergency fund for your cousin's pyramid scheme. You come first, before you pay rent, before Netflix takes its cut, and before Starbucks convinces you that a macchiato is self-care. Pay yourself, automatically, consistently, even if it's $50, even if it's $5. Treat it like a non-negotiable, because if you don't pay yourself first, you'll always be paying for your past instead of investing in your future. Now that you've made yourself the VIP of your finances, let's talk about rule number 2, the one that keeps your money from ghosting you mid-month. Rule number 2, know exactly where your money goes. Put it this way, your money is like a rebellious teenager. If you don't track it, it's probably doing something stupid. And I need you to understand this clearly. Every dollar has a job, and if it doesn't, it's unemployed and loitering at Target. Use a budget, use an app like Mint, use a spreadsheet that looks like it was designed in 2002. I don't care, just track your money. Because what gets tracked gets controlled, and what gets controlled doesn't stress you the hell out at 11:58 p.m. on rent day. All right, so now your money's got a curfew and a GPS tracker. Let's talk about a rule that's going to feel aggressive, but necessary. Rule number 3, never finance a lifestyle you can't afford. Let's get one thing straight. Luxury is not a personality trait. If you need to swipe, borrow, or finance your way into looking successful, then you're not succeeding. You're acting. Look, trust me, I get it. We live in the era of Instagram wealth, where everyone's trying to convince you they're ball in. But behind the filters and leased Benz, they're one unexpected bill away from a GoFundMe. That $2,000 handbag? It's not an asset. It's a designer paperweight that depreciates faster than a new iPhone. The 5-star vacation? Amazing. Until the interest payments follow you home like a clingy ghost. Financing lifestyle inflation is a trap. It tricks you into living a highlight reel you can't afford and builds a mountain of stress disguised as monthly payments. You want to impress people? Build wealth, not payments. Because the real flex isn't driving a car you can't afford. It's owning one and not needing to show it off. Here's a good gut check. If you wouldn't pay cash for it twice, you probably shouldn't be financing it once. All right. Now that we've exercised the spirit of fake flexing, let's focus on something way more powerful. Protection. And no, I'm not talking about insurance. I'm talking about your emergency fund, your financial force field. Rule number 4, build an emergency fund like yesterday. You don't need a rainy day fund. You need a Category 5 hurricane fund. Because life doesn't text before it punches you in the wallet. The car breaks down. The dog eats a sock. The job evaporates, and when that happens, the only thing standing between you and full-blown panic is your emergency fund. Here, let me give you a golden piece of advice. 3 to 6 months of expenses is the gold standard, but start with 1. 1 month saved equals 1 month where life can't wreck you. So now that you've got a safety net, let's build something way more exciting. Actual wealth. Rule number 5, invest early, invest often. If your money isn't working for you, then it's just chilling on the couch eating Doritos. And you don't need more lazy roommates. Here's the truth, your money has a superpower, but only if you give it time. It's called compound interest, and it's basically the financial version of a snowball rolling down Mount Everest. Start small, start early, and before you know it, that tiny snowball turns into an avalanche of wealth. But here's the part nobody tells you in school. Waiting until you make more money or you feel ready is how people stay broke forever. Because money doesn't grow with your excuses. It grows with your discipline. You don't need to be Warren Buffett. You just need to consistently invest, even if it's $50 a month, into low-cost index funds, your Roth IRA, or that boring ETF your financially woke friend keeps talking about. Think of every dollar invested as a tiny employee that works 24/7, doesn't take sick days, and never asks for a raise. Now imagine what happens when you hire hundreds of those little workers. That's how wealth gets built. Quietly and consistently. Start now. Stay consistent. And future, you will send you a thank you note, probably from a beachfront property. Now that your money's working harder than your 9 to 5, let's make sure it doesn't get sabotaged by the financial equivalent of a toxic relationship. Yep, we're talking bad debt. Let's dive into rule number 6. Avoid bad debt like a bad ex. You ever date someone who looks good on paper, but ends up ruining your peace, draining your energy, and leaving you with emotional and possibly financial damage? Yeah, that's what bad debt is like. It might seem harmless at first. Just put it on the card. 0 down, 0 interest for 6 months. This loan is totally manageable, right? Next thing you know, you're in a one-sided relationship with 22% APR and sleepless nights. And unlike your ex, you can't ghost Capital One. Here's the thing. Not all debt is evil. Student loans with strategy, maybe. Real estate, possibly. Business investment, potentially brilliant. But credit card debt for concert tickets, designer bags, and impulse shopping at 2 a.m., that's financial sabotage with lipstick on. If it's not building you a skill, growing your income, or increasing your net worth, it's not helping. It's hurting. And the longer you carry bad debt, the heavier your stress becomes. Want to sleep better at night? Avoid toxic debt the way you avoid replying to "Hey stranger" texts from your ex. By the way, if you're still watching at this point, I just want to say the Stealth Wealth channel is 100% committed to providing you the life of financial freedom you deserve, instead of the life most people only dream of. Make sure to subscribe and join the channel to stay updated on all upcoming videos. Okay, now that we've dodged the debt drama, let's talk about how to make your money behave without breaking a sweat. Because rule number 7 is all about using laziness as a superpower. Rule number 7, automate everything you can. Look, life is chaotic enough. You've got work, errands, surprise dentist appointments, and an inbox that's basically a digital scream for help. So why are you still relying on memory and motivation to manage your money? Here's the secret. Automation is how smart people stay consistent, even on their worst days. Set up automatic transfers to your savings. Auto pay your bills. Auto invest into your Roth IRA or brokerage account. Because when your money moves itself like clockwork, you don't need to remember. You don't need to rely on willpower. And you definitely don't need that mid-month panic where you ask yourself, wait, did I pay the electric bill? Or just think about paying the electric bill. Automation takes emotion out of money. It turns good habits into invisible habits, which is the ultimate wealth-building hack. And here's the kicker. You can literally build wealth while you're binge-watching Netflix or stuck in traffic. That's not lazy. That's leverage. Now that your money's handling itself like a self-driving Tesla, let's shift gears and talk about the rule that really separates the broke from the financially bulletproof. Knowing the difference between needs and wants. Rule number 8. Understand the difference between needs and wants. Look, if you confuse need with want, your wallet's going to suffer a full identity crisis. This is where most people lose the game, not because they don't make enough money, but because they treat every craving like a crisis. Let's break it down. You need groceries. You want a $17 artisanal charcuterie board delivered through 3 apps and a flying drone. You need a phone. You want the newest iPhone Pro, Max Plus, Ultra Galaxy Infinity that basically folds your laundry and judges your screen time. Here's the brutal truth. The world is designed to blur the line between need and want, and advertisers are playing chess while most people are playing Candy Crush. That's how the middle class stays stressed. They keep upgrading their lifestyle every time their income increases. It's called lifestyle creep, and it's sneakier than your neighbor borrowing your Wi-Fi. The result? You're working harder, earning more, and somehow still broke. But when you get clear on what truly matters, rent, food, transportation, health, peace, and filter out the noise, you create a budget that breathes. A budget that lets you live, not just survive. And guess what? Contentment is cheaper than comparison. All right, now that we've separated survival from splurging, let's flip the script, because rule number 9 will turn you into the kind of person who makes money moves before they make money mistakes. Rule number 9, learn before you earn. Let's be real, making money is exciting, but keeping it, growing it, that's where the real flex is. And here's the deal. If you don't understand money, you'll always be controlled by it. You'll chase every shiny side hustle, every crypto opportunity, every guaranteed return your cousin's roommate's barber swears by, and then wonder why your bank account keeps acting like a haunted house, full of cold spots and unexplained disappearances. Education before elevation. Before you buy a stock, learn how the market works. Before you jump into real estate, understand what cash flow means. Before you start a business, study marketing, taxes, and your actual margins, not just the vibes. Money rewards the informed. And in the age of free content, YouTube, blogs, books, podcasts, being financially clueless is a choice. You don't need an MBA, you need curiosity. Read a finance book instead of scrolling TikTok for 45 minutes. Unless it's this video, in which case, carry on, you're doing great. Because the more you know, the less you stress. Confidence doesn't come from having money. It comes from knowing what to do with it. All right, future finance genius. Now that your brain's stacking interest, let's talk about how to stop your wallet from bleeding money when you're not looking. Rule number 10 is about plugging those sneaky leaks before they drain your peace. Rule number 10, plug the money leaks. Let me ask you something. Is your bank account leaking, or is it just crying? Because for most people, it's not the big expenses that ruin their financial peace. It's the slow, sneaky, silent leaks. You know the ones. The gym membership you swore you'd cancel after one more month. The 6 streaming services you barely use but keep just in case. The daily $9 coffee, $14 lunch, and it was only $5. Target run that somehow turned into $82.46. It's like death by 1,000 transactions. You're not broke because of one big mistake. You're broke because of consistent tiny ones that you don't even notice until it's too late. Here's the fix. Audit your money every month. Sit down, look at your spending, and hunt the leaks like a financial bounty hunter. Cut subscriptions, set limits, turn off autopilot, and start driving your spending like a grown adult who knows avocado toast doesn't build empires. You'd be shocked how much cash you can free up just by tightening a few loose bolts. And the best part, you don't have to give up everything, just the stuff that doesn't actually add value. Because if it's not improving your life, it's probably draining it. All right, now that your financial boat isn't slowly sinking, let's upgrade the engine. Rule number 11 is all about the one investment that pays the biggest return. You. Rule number 11, invest in yourself. No, seriously. All right, look, I need to address something real quick, so pay attention. Let's make this real simple. You are the most valuable asset you'll ever own. Not your car, not your crypto, not your weird Funko Pop collection. You. Your skills, your mindset, your ability to make smarter decisions, solve bigger problems, and increase your earning power. But most people spend more money upgrading their phone than upgrading themselves. They'll drop $1,200 on a new iPhone, but hesitate to spend $29 on a book that could literally change their life. They'll binge 30 hours of Netflix, but can't sit through one course on money management or sales skills. They'll invest in outfits before they invest in outcomes. That's not self-care. That's self-sabotage. Here's the truth. Every dollar you put into becoming better, learning a high-income skill, improving your health, mastering a new tool, going to therapy, building confidence, comes back with interest. Want to make more money? Learn how to communicate. Want to be more valuable? Learn how to think critically. Want more opportunities? Learn how to solve problems people pay to have solved. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards proof. And the best way to build proof is to build yourself. So yes, invest in stocks, buy the index fund, open the Roth IRA. But also take the course, read the book, get the coach, go to the seminar. Because when you grow, everything else follows. And now, we've made it to the final rule, the one that most people skip and pay the price for with decades of stress. Rule number 12 isn't about how much money you make, it's about knowing when you've already won. Rule number 12, define your version of enough. Let me drop a truth bomb most financial gurus won't touch. Chasing more money without knowing what enough looks like is a one-way ticket to burnout. You'll always feel behind. You'll always feel broke, even with 6 figures in the bank. And you'll keep running on a hamster wheel made of anxiety, comparison, and just one more raise. But here's the twist. The goal of money isn't just to get more of it. The goal of money is freedom, peace, options, sleep, silence, boundaries. That only happens when you define what your enough is, not what society says it should be. And enough looks different for everyone. For one person, it's $60,000 a year, a paid-off home, and time to go fishing. For another, it's $250,000, remote work, and the ability to say no to clients who drain your soul. Neither one is wrong, but both become toxic when you don't define it for yourself. Because if you don't decide what enough is, someone else will. And spoiler alert, they'll set the bar just high enough to keep you spending, chasing, and doubting. So ask yourself, what kind of life do I want? How much money do I really need to feel safe, fulfilled, and free? Am I building wealth or just performing for people I don't even like? Once you define your enough, everything changes. You start spending with purpose, saving with clarity, and living without the constant hum of stress buzzing in your chest. You stop running and you start living. So now that you've got all 12 rules in your back pocket, let me leave you with this final piece of advice. Stick to these, and money won't feel like a daily battle. It'll feel like a quiet win, over and over again. If this video gave you even one aha moment, then hit that like button like it owes you rent. Drop a comment with "I will be wealthy" so I know you're on the journey. And if you want the next level money moves, check out this video right here on the secret wealth hacks of the ultra rich. We give you the entire scoop step by step, so I'll see you in the next one.